I was just looking at myself and I am filthy. Uh, let's see, day 9 on the CDT. Welcome. So today was a bit of a hike. I think in yesterday's video I mentioned that the next water source was 4 miles from where it camped. And then I was thinking that the water source after that one was, I believe, 20 miles. So it would have been 24 miles from where I camped. And two of the guides, like the map sets, had a waypoint for a reliable water source 14 miles from where I camped last night. So that would have been 10 miles from the first water source and 10 miles to the would have been the third water source. But I think from yesterday's video, it would have been the second. So I was thinking, hey, if there's a reliable water source, that'd be great. 4 miles, 10 miles, 10 miles. I can span that out across a couple days, and that means I don't have to carry as much water. Unfortunately, well, let me back up. Yesterday where I camped was during the ascent of, I think it's called Burrow Mountain, and I didn't finish the ascent. I was, I think, 2.5 miles-ish away from the summit, and I'm just realizing that tonight I think I camped where there are mosquitoes, so yay. Sorry, so 2.5 miles from the summit, and I happen to have cell service. I checked after the video last night and said, oh, I have cell service. So I mentioned the Gut Hook, which is now called the Far Out app, has you can leave comments. I think I may have mentioned that. So other hikers can leave comments about things, and especially down here in the desert, water sources are important. And so fortunately I was able to update the comments, and a comment from yesterday actually said that intermediate water source, the one that was 14 miles away from camp, was dry, and that's supposed to be a reliable water source. So if y'all want to argue amongst yourselves about climate change and how it's removing water, and the fact that I think New Mexico's in a 1.5 years or more of severe drought, but a reliable water source isn't there. And the water source that was 24 miles from where I camped last night, it's called a drip. It's basically water could be seeping from some rocks or water seeping from the ground, and then there's enough seep that it fills it. Well, it'll collect in pools, and you can basically scoop water out of those pools of water, and it's efficient enough for you to fill, your filtering device and filter the water. So it takes a little bit longer, but when you're out here in the desert and there's not much water, a drip is a drip, and you just hope that it's still dripping or flowing by the time you get there. There was a comment from 3 days ago that it was still dripping. So this morning I had a decision to make. I either had to fill up on water 4 miles after my camp and just hike another 14 or 15 miles and camp for the night, and then make sure I brought enough water to finish out the hike tomorrow. And the problem with that is all that extra weight on my feet and legs. I don't know how they are going to react to all that weight or extra weight because water's heavy. Second option was to fill up lightly at the mile 4 water stop and essentially hike 20 miles and hope that keeping a light pack and the fact that I've been building up my mileage and my legs and my feet and all that stuff over the last week or so, hopefully my body's ready for a 20-mile day. A 20-mile day, and actually over. The total mileage would be, I think, just under or over 24 miles. So I kind of debated it for a few minutes, and I said, okay, I'm going to go for it. So I filled up with minimal water to get me what I thought would be enough to get to the drip, and I just hiked my first 20-mile day today. It was, like I said, I think it's going to be just over 24 miles. I haven't looked at the maps yet, but I think that's what it's going to be, because I had to hike a little bit of ways after the water source because I think wildlife and cows are using it. So we can't spook the cows from using the water source. So my feet are barking at me. I'm immediately going to stretch right after this. It's late, but we're still getting some alpenglow because summer's coming, so that's nice. And the days are getting longer, so I'll be able to get some stretching in, some serious stretching in, and hopefully my legs don't and my feet don't wake up tomorrow and say that was too much. We're unhappy. Prior to that, over the last couple of days of hiking, my right big toe, my right sesamoid, my right ankle, and my right calf had all seemed to be settling down. I wasn't having the pains like I was before, so I was happy about that. And then I said, "Hey, how about a 24 miler?" So we'll see how happy they are sleeping tonight and into tomorrow. So I have a decision to make. Now I'm a lot closer to town than I expected to be. I think it's 17 miles, but I think 13 of it is a road walk. So I think I'm going to get up in the morning and see how my feet and legs are feeling after the stretching, and I'll stretch in the morning. And if they say we don't have it after that nonsense, then I'll probably just hike a couple miles to the next water source, which is the last water source before town, and just have a Nero day and just camp out here instead of getting a hotel room. And then I can zoom into town. Oh, I can zoom in into town on, sorry, my muscle just twitched, and it was the muscle of the leg that's holding the phone. That's why that just jerked. Anywhoozy. So, what was I saying? Oh, if I Nero tomorrow, then I can zoom into town on I think Sunday, and then I had a plan zero, so I'll probably do a plan zero to do some laundry and kind of shake out my gear a little bit more, do a resupply, and take care of all that nonsense. So I hope everyone's well, and I tell you what, today's shout out is going to be to that hole in the rock face behind me that I just saw, that's large enough for a fox or a coyote or some other type of smaller animal. And let's hope that that hole that I just found after setting up my tent and after the sun went down has no inhabitants. So shout out to that hole being empty. Okay, everyone have a nice evening, and I'll talk to you folks soon.